Ladies and gentlemen, New York has had a horrible time with dealing with all of the coronavirus surge there, along with deaths, which are off the charts. There's more deaths in New York than there are in some countries around the globe. It's that bad. Well, they are looking to hire laborers to help bury the dead in Hart's Island, Potter's Field. I'm not surprised about this at all. So this came out in Reuters April 9th, 2020. New York City officials have hired contract laborers to bury the dead in its Potter's Field on Hart's Island. When I lived in the city of Philadelphia, they had one there. And I really think each state has their own version of Potter's Field, where anybody that's unclaimed, that is where you're buried. The city's daily death rate from coronavirus has reached grim new records in each of the 3 days. Now, I can see where this would be a necessity, ladies and gentlemen, because people aren't working. And if they're not working, in many cases, they're not going to have money for burial. So this would be the option they would have to take. It's a shame, but their loved one will get buried. Everybody is not able to, pay thousands of dollars for a funeral or even to make arrangements for a funeral. Unfortunately, and being that so much of the country is out of work, this could actually become even more prevalent in the country. This city has used Hart Island to bury New Yorkers with no known next of kin or whose families are unable to arrange a funeral since the 1900s. Typically, some 25 bodies are interred each week by low paid jail inmates working on the island, which sits off the east shore of the city's Bronx borough and is accessible only by boat. That number began increasing in March as the new coronavirus spread rapidly, making New York the epicenter of the global pandemic. There are about 24 bodies a day, 5 days a week, buried on the island, said Jason Kirsten, a spokesman for the Department of Correction, which oversees the burial. Before burial, the dead are wrapped in body bags and placed inside pine caskets. The deceased name is scrawled in large letters on each casket, which help should a body need to be disinterred later. They are buried in long, narrow trenches excavated by digging machines. They added 2 new trenches in case we need them, Kirsten said, to help with the surge and the outbreak of COVID-19 respiratory illness caused by the virus at the city's main jail. Contact laborers have been hired, he said. Yes, you know what? Right now, the institutions that are probably the worst off in the country are the jails and the nursing homes. I was looking at a story a little earlier this morning that came out in my state, and it said every nursing home in the state now have COVID-19. Everyone. All right, y'all, back to this. For social distancing and safety reasons, cities sentence people in custody are not assisting in burials for the duration of the pandemic. Yeah, because so many of those inmates got it now. A barrage I'm sorry, a barge could be seen arriving at the island on Thursday morning with a refrigerated truck aboard containing about 2 dozen bodies. And they said 2 dozen bodies a day from New York. Wow. The department referred questions about causes of death to the city's office of the chief medical examiner, A.J. Worthy Davis, a spokeswoman who said it would take time to collate individual causes of death from the city's records, but it was probable some of the recent burials include those fell by the coronavirus. The island may also be used as a site for temporary interments should death surge in the city. Morgue capacity. So the morgues are struggling. I was looking at those stories about 2 weeks ago, y'all, how the morgues in New York were saying they were at full capacity. And they were concerned about taking more bodies. Now, I know they since have gotten even more refrigerated trucks for the deceased. We're all hoping it's not coming to this, Kirsten said at the time. We're prepared if it does. OCME can store about 8 to 900 bodies in its buildings, and it has room to store about 4,000 bodies in some refrigerated trucks. It can dispatch around the city to hospitals, which typically have only small morgues, Worthy Davis said. Another island to the south of Hart, Randall's Island, in the East River, is being used as a parking depot for dozens of empty refrigerated trucks between deployments outside city hospitals. On Thursday, 2 trucks containing bodies that had been parked outside a hospital were temporarily moved back to the island depot in a stadium parking lot to make way for a delivery of oxygen and other supplies at the hospital. They will not stay there, Avery Cohen, a City Hall spokeswoman, wrote in an email. City health officials could be seen on Thursday transferring bodies from 2 trucks into 3 hearses dispatched by funeral homes. Wow. That just goes to show you how bad it is out here in some places. You know, at least it's not as bad as Ecuador. They're just leaving bodies outside because, they don't know what to do with them. And families can't keep them in the house. So in many cases, they're just putting the bodies out on the streets in coffins. America so far has not gotten that bad. But this is why I don't believe you should be sending people back to work when you are nowhere near over this thing. All of this chattering about reopening the country is at the most inappropriate time ever. We don't have a cure. And I know some of you are stuck on vaccines. I'm not crazy about vaccines at all. There's not a vaccine, there's no medical cure. So if you got it, you pretty much have to tough it out. They really don't know what to do for you at the hospital. They tried that malaria medicine that Trump was talking about, and they said that stuff don't even work. And then now you got them using asthma inhalants, and they're just grabbing anything they can to try to use, y'all, because they seriously don't know what to do. But please tell me what you think. New York City want to hire more people to dig graves. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.